Okay, so let's have a look at algebra today. Okay, here we go. It's big algebra. That'll be our background. So we have a few different terms that we use. First is algebraic expression. Looks complicated, but it's not really. Then we have coefficient. Again, strange word, but actually it's pretty easy. Variable and a term. Let's keep it at that for the moment. Okay, so I'm just going to put up an algebraic expression up here. Let's see, I'll just put that up there. Okay, so here's an algebraic expression. 3x plus 5. Okay, so this whole thing is the algebraic expression. It has two terms. 3x is one term and 5 is another term. It has one variable, x, so the value of x can change, and the coefficient is 3. Okay, so the coefficient is the number that is attached to a variable. Okay, so let's have a look. If x was equal to 1, what would the value of this expression be? So let's see. So let x equal to 1, so it's going to be 3 multiplied by 1 plus 5. So the 3 is just becomes 3 here. The x has been turned into a 1 and the 5 stays the same. Okay, we'll just put a little equals mark. Okay, so now from what we did before, 3 by 1 is 3 plus 5. So again, this bit here is 3 and the 5 just comes down here. Finally, we can work that out. That's equal to 8. So that's all we had to do. Okay, so let's just move that over to the side a little bit. What if x was equal to 2? So again, we still have our same expression, 3x plus 5. But this time x is equal to 2, so we just put in a 2. So 3 multiplied by 2 plus 5. So 3x becomes 3 multiplied by 2, and the 5 stays the same. So that's equal to 3 by 2. What's that? That's 6 plus 5. We haven't changed the 5 at all, just came straight down there. And the 3 by 2 became a 6. And that's equal to 11 now. So in the previous slide we just had one term, the x term. So what if we had two? Say we had an a and a b. So say it's 3a, oops, I have to go back, 3a minus 2b. Okay. And let's say that the value of a is equal to 4 and the value of b is equal to, let's say it's minus 2. Okay, let's just make that interesting. So, the value of 3a minus 2b, so we just have to substitute in our values. So 3 by what? Okay, so what is a? A is equal to 4. So let's just do 3 by 4 minus 2 by, what's b? Okay, so we know that b is minus 2. So let's put a minus 2 in those brackets. Okay, so now 3 multiplied by 4 is what? 3 4s, so that's 12. Okay, so that 3 4s just became 12. Minus, now 2 by minus 2. What is 2 by minus 2? Well, it's minus 4. Okay, so now we have 12 minus 4 is the same thing as plus 4. So let's go 12 plus 4, and that equals 16. And that's our answer. Now, what if we had something else like a squared minus b squared? Okay, so again, what's our value of a? It's 4. Okay, so let's just put 4. I like to keep them in brackets just so I don't get confused. So 4 squared minus, and what's the value of b? Okay, so b is minus 2. Put a minus 2 in there, squared. So now we have 4 squared. So 4 squared is 4 by 4, so that's equal to 16. Minus, okay, so we have minus 2 squared. So that's the same thing as saying minus 2 by minus 2. So 16 minus, okay, so minus 2 by minus 2 is plus 4. And 16 minus 4 is 12. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the next slide. So if you want to pause it, you can have a look back over it. So on the next slide then, it's still going to be equal to 4. So I'll just write that up again. A is equal to 4 and B is equal to minus 2. I'm going to put up the question and then you can pause it and see if you can work it out. So it's 2ab squared. Okay, that's a little a. Okay. Now, that's just short for 2 multiplied by a multiplied by b squared. And that's just the same as 2 multiplied by a multiplied by b. So b squared is just b by b. A is here and the 2 is here. So all you have to do now is plug in the values of a equals 4 and b equals minus 2. So let's do that then. So we have our 2 by a is 4, okay. Our b is minus 2 and the next one is minus 2 as well. So I like to break it down into smaller parts, so let's just say 2 by 4. So just take the first two together. 2 by 4 is 8. And I won't do anything with the others, so it's just minus 2 by minus 2. Okay, so all I did there was I multiplied 2 by 4 and put it down here. And it was already going to be multiplied by minus 2 by minus 2, so they just came down here. So I am just going to go all the way up here. Okay, so I'm just going to continue that up here. So now I'm going to take the first two. I don't have to, I could take these two together, but I'm just going to do the first two. So I want to do 8 by minus 2. So I know it's going to be 16, but what is the sign going to be? So that's a positive. So the 8 is positive and the 2 is negative. So positive by negative is negative. So that's going to be minus 16. And just keep that in brackets. Still by the minus 2. Okay. And that is equal to, so 16 by 2. 16 by 2 is going to be 32. And I have to check my signs. Okay, so it's a minus by minus. So from my rules I know that that's going to be plus. So it's going to be plus 32. I don't have to put in the plus, but sometimes I like to do it. So 2ab squared, which looked quite complicated, I just broke it down, and then I substituted in the values. A was 4, and b was minus 2, 4 and minus 2. And I worked it out. 2 by 4 was 8, minus 2 was minus 2, and minus 2 was minus 2. So then I rewrote this whole thing up here with the 8 by minus 2 was minus 16, and the minus 2 was unchanged. And then I did the next line. Minus 16 by minus 2 was equal to plus 32. And that was the answer.